Hello and welcome to another episode of Geek Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I'm Dustin.
I'm Bo.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach.
Indeed.
Hey.
Now, hopefully you're watching and not watching Ahsoka. But
Nobody's
you
watching
can always
that.
watch Ahsoka later, like I plan to. But
I know.
I'm here for you guys.
If Dustin's not watching it, the viewer count is 0.
I know. They're waiting. They're right now
Nope.
waiting in their computers. They're like, nothing's going on right now. Where is our one viewer?
Jessica is. So hi,
Actually, it's
Jessica.
funny because I turned on my TV so that way I would have the one viewer count.
Yeah, you could be rolling it twice. Just roll it a bunch of times. Okay, so we got our topic. I want to get a couple things out of the way real quick. One, if you're in the upstate area and you're looking for a Facebook group for your fellow comic nerds, just do a little search for an upstate comic community. They wanted us to give them a little shout out.
Yeah.
So
It's
Okay,
actually
helps.
a really good group. I've been perusing it and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of comic book stuff. So
yeah, I just love that it's like the upstate's actually starting to get like comic book conventions, and I think this weekend they just did a Lego convention. So what else? I'm trying to. Oh man, and then of course all these new toy stores and comic book shops are just out of nowhere. These last 5-10 years, man, it's great. So. Two. I think a few of us have some what's in the boxes. I didn't know about you, Zach, but
Show you with the box.
Check out-
What's in the box? What's in the box?
yeah. So Dustin, what did you get? You said you had something.
oh, I have a bunch of somethings.
Oh, show it.
Stands.
So
Zip.
first of all,
Let me get a sew up. There you go.
my buddy Zach got me this.
Oh, that metallic's so pretty.
Isn't it
Yeah.
pretty?
The hair is
It's
amazing.
like, yeah, the pearlescent, it just picks right up. It's like his
Yeah.
hair is made out of copper.
Yeah, it's
That's
insane.
cool.
14
so
karat
yeah,
goat
got
hair.
that. He's got his crossed arms and all that good stuff. Which I just before I came on, I completely dumped this all on the floor, so my hands went everywhere. Luckily, I got it all back. So
Man,
it's always good.
There's a lot of allegations against Dustin about his hands being not.
He always wanted to be a hand model.
What else? What did you get? Oh yeah, that Century. Yeah, that's a cool one.
Nice.
Yep, it's the Mighty Morphin Tyrannosaurus Sentry. I thought this was really cool, and wanted to get one for a long time, and yeah, just happened to get one from my
Nice.
buddy. And got this.
ooh,
Dragon Ball City up there.
Yeah,
you're having
yeah, this is very awesome. Let's set that there, and here's the box. So,
Christmas coming a little early.
What's
Oh,
in-
you got your Beast Man?
Oh wow.
yeah, got a Beast Man. This guy.
Oh yeah,
His
a lot
brother.
of the yeah.
Ah, yes, the fourth brother.
Whatever he is. We got Obi-Wan.
Sorry. It's great.
Nice.
Yes, for
And it's in here somewhere. The Grand Inquisitor
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You got
for my
Add to the Star Wars collection.
Oh, and I got a giant bag of Oops All
Damn.
Berries.
Okay.
ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet. Well, good haul, man. I want to do this because this is one of the rare occasions I'm not going to shit on McFarlane. Where is
Uh-oh.
this
Ooh.
at?
Hello.
I got that. It's already opened. The his superpower line. 'Cause I
Yeah.
got that flash, and I was like, I actually like that flash.
Thank you, Daniel.
And then boosh.
Oh,
I
nice.
got that. So I've already taken these out of the box, and it's ready for display. And I'm getting Robin on Thursday.
I gotta say, I love the
Oh,
design on that Batmobile so
yeah,
that
much,
is awesome.
That's so awesome.
The reason this is important, the original Superpowers toy, Batmobile is the earliest toy I can remember ever having.
man. Oh,
Like
I
I used
have
to play with that thing in the bathtub and everything.
it.
He still does.
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
have
this is totally going in the bathtub.
it.
But yeah, Robin will be here Thursday, I believe. So I'm
Nice.
excited about that.
Oh, did you happen to pick up Nightwing?
No, I didn't. I want to pick up the Superman.
Yeah.
But I missed that one. But surely I can find one that's not too outrageous.
The Batmobile.
Yeah, the Batman. Yeah, it's sweet. It's got the battering ram, the rocket. I know it's not. Todd did a good thing. It's like whoever designed this on the team. It's not the original Superpowers thing, but it's still the essence of it. So it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm cool. I
Does it
like
have the claw feature on the back, or just
no,
the
okay, so
rocket thing in the front?
hold on. We'll go over the features just in case anybody else wants this thing. And it's really cheap. It's actually on Amazon right now.
Nice.
Got the okay, so it's got a battering ram.
Nice.
Little thing. But the back is hiding this pop-up rockets.
Oh. Whoa.
So,
That's cool.
yeah.
I thought we were gonna get some death race there for a second.
Yeah, but
Drop the tombstone.
I don't kill, but my car does.
Yeah.
It's very different. I mean, the battering ram's still the same. It just doesn't. It's not all the way. It's
yeah.
more focused because the original one popped all the way out, the entire front bumper up. But yeah, that's awesome.
Just having a little cloth good cape and a little neck. I've been talking to Zach about it. I'm trying to buy things that actually make me happy instead of things that just like stress me out. So that made me happy. My Inframan poster makes me happy. I got it up on the wall.
Yeah.
Just more purchases like that instead of trying new things and just being like, ah. So old habit, but I still got to give it to McFarlane. It's
I
the
just want to know
Superpowers
what
one's
he's
actually
buying
good.
that makes him go, Like, what are you buying?
I
Yeah,
wish.
that's more of a. I don't know.
Well,
That's a different kind of podcast.
That's
Kind that
good.
makes you go.
he's over there like Ben Affleck. Ah, was it with the hooker today?
Okay, so topic. I was curious about this because I've been thinking about it a lot, and I was thinking about things that would have been better off if they had only stayed at one.
Mm.
And I know that's difficult when there is something good. Immediately, we want more of it.
Yeah.
It's natural to just want more, especially when it's good.
Hmm.
So I tried to pick things that got mixed to negative reactions more often than fondness when you bring it up.
Yeah.
And I tried to stick to I weighed the entirety of the thing versus the original first season, first movie, whatever. And let's see, what I asked myself what might serve pop culture better if there had been only one, regardless of how much I may like the other entries. So there was some things I didn't quite put on the list, like things that they ended. Like I'm trying to think of the way to word it. Things that would have been better if they had like reworked it and just made it one thing. I didn't put on the list.
Okay.
So things like I think of like Prison Break, the first season of Prison Break, if it had just been one season.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That was
Or
awesome.
Westworld.
Yeah. I did like that first season of Westworld.
Yeah, the first
The
season.
only season I've watched.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. It is kind of standalone, but
Yeah.
and I'm sure I've got some other things going. But so I wanted to go. Who's got? You know what?
This was actually.
I agree.
This was actually what I was gonna say. It's like
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put it on my list too. I fucking love the Matrix. I love the sequels.
yeah.
I love 2 and 3, and I love the Animatrix. I love
Yeah.
the comics. Love the video games. After that last one, it was devastating enough to where I was just like, yeah, let's just go ahead and just wish that it had just been the first movie.
Yeah.
because I think it would have
because
been
the first movie was fine. Like,
more impactful.
yeah, I think it would have made more sense and more of an impact had it just been that one movie. But I mean, I get wanting the other two, but and Animatrix was great, but
Yeah, it's like one of those things that traded off, and just also the political. Not to get into politics, but how that the terms from that movie became political things
Mm.
that were ignorant of what the actual source material was. So it was kind of rough.
Mm.
Like I'm sure we're all tired of the term woke,
mm-hmm.
which derived from this, and being red pilled, which derived from this. Like I'm so sick of how they got taken out of context and whipped up. I can understand the reaction to make that last movie the way they made it, but it was also kind of a slap in the face to fans in terms of
I
ignoring the
honestly
lore and
couldn't get
everything.
through it.
I don't think I've ever been more furious through a movie.
Yeah.
Renee still makes fun of me because she fell asleep during it. And as soon as like the lights went up and it was going off, I just kind of went like that and I was like, let's go.
Oh,
She said I was
geez,
just so angry.
That's when Bo knows he's getting older too. He or everybody around him is like fall asleep to our movies. When I was a kid, that irritated me. Somebody fell asleep, I was like, ah! I was so mad and offended that somebody would do that. AKA my parents.
She dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so yeah, the Matrix is on there, and I'm a huge Matrix fan, but I will agree that it might have been better off if it just stayed. It'd be interesting to see that timeline where there's only one Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, what have you got? Let's do a roundtable. That was one of mine anyway.
So I got a kind of a controversial one.
Okay.
You're gonna think it's controversial for me. I think Rambo should have stopped at one.
You know what? There's a couple of cheaters. You're gonna see a lot of stuff on my list, but there are graphics.
I think just because First Blood was a complete telling of,
visuals.
it was a retelling of the novel, which was great, and I felt like the sequels, as much as we loved them growing up, and they were crazy over the top action films, they kind of went away from what the character was.
Mhm.
He was a very torn up man by the end of First Blood, and you see it, and he's broken down. But then you pick up at Rambo 2, and it's like, we're gonna send you back to Vietnam, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's just okay with it.
Yeah,
He didn't have post-traumatic stress, not Rambo.
Seriously. And the only reason I can make this claim is because when they came back and they made, I forget what year that was, when it was just called Rambo, and it was like basically Rambo 4.
Yeah.
And it ended with him going home. If we could have it just end right there, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
But
I really like that movie, so I agree with that.
Yeah, but then then they came out with Last Blood, and I think Last Blood really just killed his character dramatically.
Yeah,
they left him. Spoilers, like he's an unresolved, battered piece of meat by the end of that movie, and he's no better and he's no worse,
right?
And it's just, and it killed the whole point of him going home. That movie,
yeah.
But yeah, that's my big one. And then going with the challenge of you can only you take one, you can't just take pieces. Then I'd have to stop at First Blood.
Yeah, the writer of the novel feels the same way too, right?
Yes.
When he's very unhappy about how they just kind of turned him into like an action star.
Yeah, because somebody that broken up, they're not.
Yeah.
And you take somebody like that, you can't put them back anyways. They're not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to it.
There's some fun against TNT too that may come up in the. Okay, Dustin, Brian, you got to pick. We'll just keep going. We'll just do a round robin. Let's keep going.
All right, you want me to go then? Or?
Yeah, I might actually have a slide for
it. I'm gonna just do two short ones. I think Jurassic Park needed to end after the first one. I don't think there was ever a reason for anything after that.
Oh, guess what?
It bothers me that Michael Crichton had to write Lost World because of it. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to say that Jeff Goldblum's character died in the original Jurassic Park and then somehow came back.
Oh, really?
In the books, anyways. I
Yeah.
want to say. I had to double
I would
check.
believe that because his character does get wrecked in that movie. If it turned like in terms of
Yeah.
if that was in the book, like he just
Yeah.
they wrote it in, like he survived. Like I
Yeah.
could see that.
He
I mean,
only
they
s-
buried him, and then the next book he's alive. I don't know. He's just like, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
they were probably going to kill him in the movie, but he did the sexy hood pose, and they were
Yeah.
like, and
I mean,
you know, and they were like,
that
no,
did it for me.
yeah, it's like we got to keep him.
What was I, like 12 years old, something like that? I can't
Jurassic
remember.
Park. Yeah, but the thing is, oh, there it is. I mean,
Hammond
Hammond
did die,
dies
yeah.
in the first book too.
And then the
Oh,
second
wow.
one was Jaws. They should have ended it after the first Jaws. I don't know
Guess
why they
what?
did.
I guess fun.
Oh, I saw everything there, but yeah.
Yeah, that was actually some of the easier stuff. I think it's going to be easier to go over. But yeah, Jaws. That's
Yeah.
I haven't
Jaws,
even seen
obviously.
Jaws.
In fact, let's just put Jaws / The Meg, because I mean, or any shark movie, Sharknado, any shark movie just needs one movie and that's it. You know?
It is weird how they just kept. I can understand like this because Jaws was such a pivotal. I think it's the running thing of what we're going on. We're hitting it early. Is that all of these movies had such an impact on the rest of the history of cinema from there on out.
Yeah.
There's really no point in doing a sequel.
I think
It's
the
kind of
goofy
weird.
thing is Jaws, the majority of the movie doesn't even have the shark in it.
No.
You know, it was one of those ones where it kind of like, you know, pioneered that first person, you know, the shark is coming after you because they didn't want to show that machine because it was just really not going to sell the movie.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but it worked because it made everybody's imagination really work overdrive. So, you know, then you end up having all the other ones and they just got so weird. Like Jaws 3, wasn't it something about like one of the shark family members wanted revenge on him or something?
That is the storyline.
I think it was called Jaws Revenge or something, right?
Yeah, something. I don't know. It was just goofy. I'm like, seriously, like, you know, the main actor didn't even want to be in it anymore. He was dead, so now the family's plagued by the shark. Like, seriously, guys.
It's just really. I'm baffled by the fact that they were able to make so many sequels to Jaws.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, like, unless they start doing remakes or revisiting this, like this one kind of solved itself. It died out anyway. But
yeah,
if there's a prospect to make more Jaws movies, let's not.
Well, they
with the Meg, who knows?
Yeah, I think the Meg and like stuff like that is like it's its own thing.
But I think it's a different thing because it looks. I don't know. I'm a fan of the Meg.
I think they're just being stupid on purpose.
Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You think Zach? Because I mean, like, if you see a trailer with Jason Statham and a katana on a jet ski.
Yeah, I mean,
like, come on, man! Like, that's so. I don't know, and I say that, but that movie made a shit ton of money. So,
I mean, I imagine there's a writer over there just like typing away, making sequels to this, you know, and he's like, and then there's some actual person with sense like that walks in and like, dude, no one's gonna buy tickets to see this, and he looks right dead in his eye, and he's like, people still pay for Disney Plus, bro. People are fucking retarded.
I'm gonna roll into that because of Disney Plus recently did a sequel to this reboot. Even the second one, which made a lot of money.
Yeah,
like it was just the first movie over again.
Yeah,
I had the Nintendo game. It was terrible.
I had the Game Boy version, which is it's not a fun game.
Let's take a crappy game and then make it black and white and wimpier, you know, pretty much.
I don't think it needs to be said. Like, if anybody's seen any of the additional ones,
now
I saw the third one. It was terrible.
Yeah,
so Home Alone would have been better had they had it be Macaulay Culkin, all grown up, and he has to defend his home from or wherever.
Well, they did that too. That was Rambo 5.
I was about to say that. Yeah. I was about to say I would have preferred that. You know, like just
I would too.
Kevin McAllister should have ended up being the next Sticky Bandit and being a serial killer in the next movie.
Well,
And it would have made sense. He could have been in Scream and it would have made sense.
there's a fan theory that he's actually the basis for Saw. I think there's a fan theory that he's a Jigsaw. Somehow that works.
funny.
I don't know. Honorary mention too. If it's a horror movie, it's probably on my list anyway.
Yeah,
like, I think
every
if you
horror
left
movie.
Saw alone, Saw could have been like a really good classic because
Mm.
it's actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas
Just,
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of with horror. It's kind of easy to pick on. So
Friday the 13th would have been awesome without Jason in it. As much I hate to say it, but his mom being the murderer was the best, climax for that first movie. And they should have just ended it like that. It would have made a lot different of a movie.
yeah, I know. That's the point of this list too. We're also really going to piss off some people.
Yeah.
I
See,
know
and yeah, Daniel has a great one I actually agree with. Pirates of the Caribbean. As much as I simp for those movies.
Pirates is in here. Hold on. I have a slide.
You have a slide for Pirates?
I have a slide for Pirates because this is on my list.
I can't, man.
Those lists just breaks dreams.
I swear we didn't communicate on this. We just said ideas and we kept it quiet on purpose. And yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even tell anybody I was making slides. I just figured it would be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, the way that moved, the Curse of the Black Pearl, it ended perfectly. And that could have been that'd have been fun.
I don't think I've seen any other movie after that. So,
I mean,
I've seen all of them but one.
I take that back. I did watch like 2 or something, but I don't know. It got weird when
David
Orlando
Jones showed
Bloom
up.
is Davy Jones was definitely one of them. It was weird, but
it got funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as cool as that effect is on Davy Jones, I remember thinking that was partial makeup and like the tentacles were CG, and it's like his clothes, his face, everything was CG. And that would actually blew my mind. I was like, wow, super impressed. But unfortunately, the script's not as good. Plus, you're really fortunate to get a good movie out of an amusement park ride.
What's killing me is I'm looking at that and I'm shocked at how young everybody looks.
Yeah, when was the first Pirates? That was like early 2000s, right?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I know we have an internet, but who wants to use that?
Yeah, right. I keep thinking of like the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, and I'm like, man, he looks so just ragged.
This was before Amber Heard, so you can literally visually see when she entered his life. like he started showing up, and it's like, boy.
She's a vampire.
Yeah,
she just
2003.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Since I did throw it up, we talked about how Halloween to me is. If you ask any fan of the Halloween franchise what their favorite Halloween is, 99% of them say the first Halloween. So that should tell you, don't make sequels of this movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. I liked one of the later ones.
But is it enough to keep all of them?
Yeah, we're not saying that the sequels or whatever might be bad. It's just, do they need it?
Yeah.
Like honestly,
a lot of these Halloween movies, but
I really enjoy Ghostbusters Afterlife. But can I say that they should have made more than one Ghostbuster? I mean, I love Ghostbusters. You know about my Janine action figure. I love Ghostbusters. But seriously, I mean, I can't say that look, he's like, yeah, Brian, I did it for you, buddy. But I did. I mean, that was such a huge part of my childhood. But honestly, the second one sucked. The third one, I'm not even going to talk about. And then the fourth one, which was Afterlife, it was good. I liked it. But how do you go from that?
It was disappointing because they played it safe. Like I was legitimately in the theaters. I was bummed out that the big baddie was Gozer again. I was like, oh, really? It's Gozer? I thought it was going to be, something along the lines with the cult and all this. I thought it was going to be, this is going to be great. It's going to be the ghost of this cult leader or something. It's going to be awesome. And then Gozer crawls out.
Made Egon's ghost like the villain?
Something. Plus, yeah, they changed a lot of things just to kind of write that out. I thought that was weird because I just don't buy that Ray would have. Nobody would have believed Egon when Egon was the smartest one.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Egon's warning you about something, I just don't buy it. Everybody would be like, "Oh, Egon, you're a kook.
But
Get out of
Didn't
here,
Egon
man."
in the first movie kind of have like a weird obsession with like Twinkies and pointing out the fact that like
Yeah.
I'm kind of like he's a little bit nuts. I'm not gonna.
But the one person that really like gave him shit about it was the one person who, I mean, he was his partner. It was Ray, and I just don't buy Ray would have done that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of broke my heart.
I don't know. Look at Ray's face in that picture.
All
He
serious.
looks like he could cause some trouble right there.
All business.
Yeah.
Go get her,
Look
Ray.
at Bill Murray. He's just like kind of a smirk the whole time.
That's the face you make when you have a nuclear weapon strapped to your back.
Since we brought it up, I love Terminator 2. I legitimately, I think Terminator 2 is one of the greatest sequels of all time, if not the best sequel.
Only there isn't a Terminator in it.
Yeah, but also they kept going with it. Like you could barely write a sequel to Terminator 2. Like, but after that loophole, that was knotted. You can't get that out, and they just kept coming up with more and more reasons to go after John Connor, or Sarah Connor, or something. And I'm like, man, if you're gonna make a sequel or something, just set one in the future, just exclusively in the future. Don't make it about John Connor or anything.
I'm waiting for them to send a Terminator back in time to the arcade to kill the mullet kid that warns John of the T-1000, so he can't warn John.
Don't salute your shorts.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't work, so they just in case they send one back to kill his mom.
Yeah, so like the world's no one gives him enough praise, but what a friend. Like like he's like, you ever seen this kid? No, I've never seen him in my life. Man, you better get out of here.
Yeah. Also, they say they should point out his natural instinct was a lot of the cops, and it was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really hard to want to say you'd have to throw away too, but considering everything they've done with it, it's
becoming a situation where the real question is what franchise should actually stick around after the first one. Because a lot of them you're kind of looking at like, he's like, hold on.
Still the perfect. Back to the Future. They haven't touched it.
Yeah.
Back to the Future is like the perfect trilogy. And I just, again, I'll say it every time we talk about it. I hope I die before Robert Zemeckis.
Can we count Top Gun?
Ooh, so you're not a fan of Top Gun 2?
No. I'm saying like as the perfect, like, I mean, we got one original.
Oh, just because there's two entries.
There's two entries, and now it's more than one, but they're both great. So
yeah,
like I wouldn't dare sacrifice either one of those films.
No, right. Okay, good point. I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, if
I agree with Jessica that Zombieland did not need a second movie, and
correct.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the second one.
Back to the Future.
I didn't hate the second one, but it wasn't necessary at all.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it, so
then you know the
plot.
plot.
It's because they made it like so late after the first one. I was just it cooled down, and I just wasn't interested in seeing it.
Yeah,
it's like too much time had passed to capitalize on the popularity of the first one.
Yeah,
but not enough to get nostalgia. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, remember Zombieland?
Yeah, if they'd waited like another 5-10 years and people been like, oh man, they made a sequel to that.
Yeah,
could have been cool.
Yeah. If they would have waited just a little bit longer and got the band back together, and I think maybe it would have worked. I don't know.
Well, I think we should say Avatar, since I mean that it's starting. I mean, like, you know, we have 2, now we're gonna have 3, and then 4, and then
he's already got like 18 plans.
Yeah. And James Cameron is like a machine now. He died a long time ago, and we're in the, 2150 or something year, and he's just like, he's an AI and he's still going.
We're on James Cameron time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll argue that I don't even think Resident Evil need to be made. Like if you're going to turn Resident Evil into something, it should be a show, but I know Netflix tried that. Or did they? Is it even come out?
No,
Uh-uh.
no,
It
they
j-
did, and it canceled. They did one season and they canceled it.
Like
They
you
did an anime
can't.
too that was terrible.
Yeah,
You have to fully embrace the weirdness of that in order to just do a Resident Evil proper.
I want to see George Romero's Resident Evil.
I still would like to see that. The
Yeah.
script exists. I added this one. I think Zach can join me on this one. Wouldn't the Highlander been just good if it was just Highlander?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Although the
I mean,
TV
even
series made it awesome.
I
yeah.
love the man. And here's the thing: I love the TV series too. And as shitty as that TV movie is with the two of them teaming up, I still love it just because it's so corny.
Yeah.
And plus, Donnie Yen's in it. But I would still trade all of it if it was Highlander just stayed one and done.
Yeah.
Plus, if anybody remembers the ending of this movie, it is one and done. They had to like write it out.
Yeah.
You know? It's oh man.
Oh,
You're gonna enjoy October because I'm pretty sure me and Zach have had our pick. We're making everybody watch The Crow too.
see, man.
Because we're actually secret fans of that.
Yeah, that's why it would be a hard toss up. Be like, I know all the other ones are trash, but to get rid of two, that'd be like, oh yeah,
Some of these are really hard, man.
this is oh god, it's really stupid, but I love it.
And this one's hard too because this one lends itself to like doing so many cool things. Like the anime is really cool because it's completely, but they always have to make it someone who's from the Highlands to make it relatable. So it's kind of like everybody's a McLeod. There's 3 McLeods that have had stories in like the Highlander universe.
It's like the Castlevania universe. Everybody's a Belmont.
Everybody's Belmont, yeah.
I
So that
think
way everybody's got to be a Highlander.
I think more of like series like this should incorporate kind of the James Bond approach where they keep the same character and tell different stories with different actors. Like,
Yeah.
you know, be like, oh, this is a Highlander. He's immortal. You can be in any part of history you want, you know,
Yeah.
and keep these going and just cast maybe a Scottish person.
Read the Grafton paperback, it says on there. I wonder how
Yeah.
that was.
I wonder if it is good.
No,
It usually has like deleted scenes or stuff because they usually get like an early draft of a script.
Yeah.
And then there's like some good tidbits in there, the stuff they cut out.
Featuring original songs by Queen.
Yes.
Man.
Rockin' soundtrack.
That soundtrack still hits this day.
Yeah. Trivia, they were only asked to do one song and they loved the movie so much they said, can we write other songs for the movie?
Wow.
So yeah. God bless you, Freddie Mercury. What no, that was that. I want to see what else we've had.
Well, wait a minute,
Dustin,
Dustin,
do
you have anything? Because he hasn't gotten called on yet.
Yeah,
Dustin.
You gotta have something.
Yeah, there's gotta be something that you hate.
That's not even like necessarily. It might be coming out of a place of love for something that you think like the world would be better off if it hadn't been drowned out by bad sequels or something.
Well, okay, so this is where I think it's gonna matter about because the sequel trilogy. If you split up the Star Wars by trilogy and just say the first one should have been the only one they made and just erase the 9 and 10 of the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
You know what? I have 8. I guess he's got a slide for
it.
it.
Star Wars. He's like, all right, there's gonna be blood on it and everything.
I do. I think it should be talked about. It's I'm of the camp that I think I could let Empire go.
I could let it all go.
It's really hard because if you keep you got like this nice little sci-fi fantasy movie that would have just been this magical touchstone for everybody for years. And then obviously the first one did its, leaps and bounds with special effects and all that. Like it did its duty in terms of that front. But then in story-wise and just inspiring a youth, just a whole generation of kids that grow up and like, I'm going to become a scientist so I can figure out how to make a real lightsaber and things like that. Like, or I want to go to space, be an astronaut, space exploration.
Jessica's like, I hate Star Wars.
Well, I want to know if did you always hate Star Wars though? Is the question.
Yeah, like I think like Star Wars it's almost like historic. Like we need that movie to happen,
Mhm.
just because of all the people that were inspired, like you said, and just the advances in technology that were made making that film that went on to make other films. I mean, like it's such a historic thing. But yeah, if I had to cut out a few bad apples, to save the tree, I
Yeah.
think I could, because knowing what comes down the line in the story for some of these characters that are so great in this film, God, trash.
If it's just Star Wars,
Yeah, if it was
see
just this
that's
film
the
right here.
thing too. Let's go back in time to the. I know me and Dustin are going to be different because we were born, around the time it came out. But when we got old enough, I know me and Dustin have a very similar story. We both thought Return of the Jedi was the first. That was the
Yeah.
only Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because that was the one we used to rent all the time in video stores. That was the only one they had.
Yeah.
And then having our little minds blown when there's like, oh, there's stuff before this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that speaks to how good a movie it does. Like, you don't even care that there's not other ones.
Right.
But a lot of people were not happy with Return of the Jedi, ironically.
Yeah. I don't know. I always loved it.
Ironic.
I'm like I said, I always loved it because it was my Star Wars from 0 to 3, maybe like 8. I don't know, maybe 8. I don't know when they were showing them on TV, and we had TV at the time. So
yeah, I think that's the first time I ever saw Star Wars was on when it
Right.
played on TV, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
yeah,
It was that. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think. I mean, I'm around your age, right? Like I'll be 40 tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah,
huh?
happy early birthday.
Yeah,
birthday.
thanks.
Happy early birthday, yeah.
Thanks. And I was never seen again.
He didn't make it.
But yeah, I missed my level up. But I remember. I think I actually saw the first Star Wars somehow. I mean, because I don't remember Return of the Jedi until later. So it was either that or Empire Strikes Back, and maybe I just remember seeing like a rerun or something, like they put it on TV. But I don't remember Return of the Jedi until later. Oddly enough, though, and I'm sure you have a slide for this too, but Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, and all that series. But Temple of Doom was my first. So that was my Star Wars from like what you guys are talking about. For me, that was the only one that existed. And I loved it because they were eating freaking brains and eyeballs and all that other crap,
Yeah, that was the first one I saw. No, I do not, because I need the whole verdict. I have not actually seen the new one, and I heard it's not terrible, and that might not constitute enough of it to be
but
like
Crystal
erased
Skull
from
was
history.
bad enough.
no,
Yeah,
I disagree.
Crystal Skull's watchable. I was really hard on it when it came out, but also I've seen a lot of really terrible movies since, and going back and rewatching it, I was like, oh, this ain't that bad. I've seen way worse.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just bad at the time because it was not a good Indiana
Because
Jones movie.
it wasn't The Last Crusade.
Yeah, The Last Crusade, man, that's the
expecting it to
perfect
be-
ending. It's the
Right,
perfect
right.
ending.
Yeah, it was.
And plus that kind of ended that generation of people who were going to be interested in Indiana Jones anyway, in hindsight. Because clearly nobody knew, and they don't give a shit about Indiana Jones. He's just not appeal, no appeal. Sorry. Matt Nicholson, man. I'll watch anything with him in it.
He was good. He was a great villain.
He was a good villain in that.
Oh man, God, Hannibal's so good. I know. I've noticed you said Star Trek, and I didn't know if anybody had any shows. Because I have one off the top of my head, but I'm interested to hear shows. If anybody has shows they think should have been.
You mean like
one
seasons, or do you mean like spin-offs, or like?
We could go one season, or we could go one series. Because I know there's some things like Star Trek that have had multiple series, and most people would be like, I only like old school Star Trek. That's it. I know that's hard because a lot of people of Generation too.
Yeah. I don't think you could stop. I think you need to stop. If you were going to stop it, you have to stop it after Next Generation.
Right.
I don't think. I think that one kind of is a weird thing where, because the first one is good for a certain generation, and it's still good, but it's not good in a more modern sense.
Right. It is not good, in my opinion.
The first
I think
season of
Next
the original
Generation is better.
series is almost like the first season of the original series is almost like the Twilight Zone, though, in
Yeah.
how dark it is at certain points, which really shocked me because I kept remembering how everybody was all like how cheesy William Shatner was. So the fact that there's some legit like messed up stuff in that first season was pretty surprising. But on the other hand, if you just ended Star Trek on
Next
the
Generation.
original, if you ended it at Next Generation and cut out the original series, it would have been perfect.
So you think Next Generation should be the cutoff point? Like it should be
Yeah.
nothing else but Next Generation.
And I think they should have kept the movies out too. But I could have
yeah,
went
I
with
mean-
the shows.
I watched Picard, and I really liked that show.
Yeah,
which
it
is
was good.
it is pretty much a getting the band back together.
I know Zach's face because I've heard nothing but terrible things about it from fans, or just in general. Like a lot of these new series, hardcore Star Trek fans aren't digging.
Oh yeah,
But they're
I can
trying
imagine
to-
that.
I only
New
saw
to me
season
things.
1 of Picard and I liked it. I don't know
Yeah.
about the other ones. I don't know how it ended.
Well,
Yeah,
But
I watched it. Watched it all the way through. It's good.
I just have Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things should end in season 1. I think that could have been a very memorable,
Yeah,
good show.
it's the one that made me like excited in horror in general. Like, ooh, this is exciting. Like everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
Not
Plus, I
just
think
the
it came
fact of
from-
popularity,
Yeah.
but just everyone. It was like a phenomenon.
Plus, it was just so authentically 80s, and then after that, it became like, how much 80s stuff can we stick in this?
Right.
So season 2 and 3, it's just like commercials for 80s products and stuff, and it's like, the first one, it really felt like it came from the heart.
Right.
Even with that kind of ending, that kind of nudges like, oh, evil's always around, it's coming back. Like, that was just horror in general.
Right.
So you really didn't need a sequel.
Well, with that, I would say Lost needed to end after season 1 because season 1 was awesome.
Absolutely.
But
could it have ended after season 1? I've never seen.
I don't
Lost, but
think.
I'm
but
glad
it,
I didn't.
It wouldn't really have ended right, but at the same time, I think it would have just been. I would have rather it been discontinued, like like they would have canceled it, because the ending of it. I'm not saying that they didn't have good episodes in other seasons. The
Mhm.
problem was with what you got in the finale of it, just wasn't worth it. Through all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it can go a little bit further because I still enjoyed season 2 and maybe parts of 3, but as soon as they revealed like what the smoke monster was, I was just like, what the hell is this? It's like, no.
It got worse after that too.
Yeah, it completely tanked and went downhill. I was just like, what the heck is this show? Why am I watching this?
Yeah.
I'm sure Zach will agree with this. When I was making this list, and Renee was like, "You should put the first season of Punisher on that list," and I was like,
That's the only one I've watched.
"Yeah, that would have been great if that second season hadn't happened."
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're saying the second season isn't worth watching?
It's not.
It's not good.
really not.
It's
Unless you want to see Jigsaw, like he's got barely just like little baby scars on his face. He's that handsome model. He's like, I'm so ugly. Look.
I know.
at me."
I know that to have this guy yell at me, look at me, I'm fucking ugly, and I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah, dude.
That's a slap in my face.
Yeah,
Like, what are you talking about?
Look at you.
Just grow a beard.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's not like playing it psychologically. Like he knows that he's, there's somewhere deep down inside. It's like he knows it's nothing, but he feels ugly. He only feels the scars. He really thinks his face is just scarred up so horribly.
Yeah,
Speaking of
it's
which,
not like a Two-Face type of mentality.
No,
so-
you saw like you remember? Did you ever see Punisher Warzone? That Jigsaw.
Yes,
his
exactly.
face was fucked.
Right.
Like that's a Jigsaw face.
Right. That's
This guy
who I think of when I think of Jigsaw. Like that's who
like
it should be.
baby face. I wonder if I can find a picture. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves because it's so funny.
I just realized we were talking about all this. If I would have known you were doing this, I wouldn't have shaved for a few days. so that I would have had at least some facial hair. You know, I'm like, man, I'm really out the one old odd man out here. You guys are all growing these epic beards, and I'm just like, hi guys.
We had someone comment a couple episodes ago. He was like, "This is what I see is a perfect progression of beard growth." You know, like so one person has some, another person does another, and then another one's just full beard. And it's like, I get it.
Well, you have an excellent jawline. I mean, that's your call. You know, if you
Thanks.
Yeah, man. If you got one, enjoy it.
yeah, just go for
Enjoy
it.
it while you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But now I'm picturing you guys
refresh
without
people's
jaws
memory.
altogether.
Yeah. See,
I don't.
I'll immediately look 12. So I can't. They ID me.
So
I
this-
can't even buy my own Twix.
Okay, so this was Jigsaw in the movie Warzone, right?
Right.
Like, okay, so this is what he looks like on the show.
Oh, you
It's,
have both tabs, huh?
Yeah, but like this is it. That's the extent.
I don't see anything.
Oh, did I not change over?
It's
Oh, I'm sharing just the one tab. My bad. Hold on. My bad.
professional.
Yeah, professional. I'm not. But like, okay, so this is what he looked like.
Yeah, look. Still.
Oh,
Excuse
it
me.
is.
Excuse me, handsome fellow.
Yeah.
If anything, it makes you more attractive.
Yeah.
Like you got scars. Ladies gonna be like, oh man.
Especially if you look at it, if you look at women like that with that
Yeah.
crazy eyes
Yeah.
you're doing there. What's
Excuse me, Geralt of Rivia.
I've got stories. I'm damaged goods. Take me to bed.
The winds are howling.
Winds howling.
What
Oh
happened?
man.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, see.
But yeah, it's okay. So, any other shows?
Every CW show.
You think they're good for one and done?
Yeah.
Oh, even Supernatural? Would you throw out all of Supernatural just to keep the first season?
No, I'd probably keep Supernatural, but I'm talking about all the DC shows. Sorry, I should have been more specific.
Okay.
Arrow, Flash, like their first seasons coming out of the gate, I thought they were pretty good. Like they were really good, and then I guess because somebody who writes those were like, you know what they need? You know what we need? They need a team. They need to be at a team at all times. But the show is called Arrow. Yeah, but what about Team Arrow, where everyone's got a bow?
Right.
And all of his sidekicks. I'm not. I'm going. Supernatural is up and down, but I can't because I would argue that it gets way better than the first season.
Yeah.
Now,
the spin-off series, Supernatural, whatever.
We don't need that.
It's good. You know, like they were trying to bring it back, and it's just like, no, they did the right thing to cancel it.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I'm sure there's more stories to tell, but it's fine.
The only season that I thought was the worst season in my mind was the Leviathan. If you remember that, I think it was like season 7 or 8, and they and even in the last season they made a joke about it that God was.
I agree with that. Hot take.
No, yeah. After Frank Darabont left, no good.
Yeah, Winchesters.
Yeah.
Winchesters.
Yeah.
Continue, Zach.
The
Leviathan.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, because they made a joke about it that God was like, I had writer's block. What do you want me?
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And then, but yeah, Walking Dead. See, that's a weird one. That's a very weird one because the way season 1 ends, I don't know. And then I think the biggest problem with that show is it went on a little longer than it should, and then they started taking out some of the main players for reasons like, good God, like killing Carl. What a stupid move.
That's weird. This just popped up just as you said that.
Yeah. I can't believe they were like, hey, Carl, the really awesome character that we've been building up for seasons.
Right.
Bitten.
Well, don't he like in the comics? Didn't he turns out to be the main character, going forward into the future and everything?
Yeah.
And they shot his eye out. Yeah. It's like, what the?
Well, that happened in the book.
Well, yeah, but that's how they killed him.
No, they killed him in the show. He lost to a regular zombie, just a random zombie bit him. That's how Carl went out.
Huh.
Like henchman number 88 got him.
You
know
Like
what?
Lame.
I get that reference.
yeah.
That shows how bad he sucked.
I guess
I mean, dude,
that-
he was a little bitch in the beginning. Like,
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so annoying, and it's like to have him like pay off and actually turn out to be a good good
Yeah.
character, and then just for him to die,
Yeah.
that felt so betrayed.
and
But
not
think
having
they're
everybody was
desperate.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because they're bringing back Rick.
Yeah.
what's crazy
somehow.
though is the show kept his daughter. Was it Lilith? Is that
Yeah.
her name? It
Judith.
kept her alive.
Judith,
Judith.
yeah.
Judith. I think of Diablo 4. Apparently, I don't know. But it's weird. They literally keep her alive and kept her going throughout. It kind of taking Carl's place, and I'm like, that's a weird flex on that.
Yeah.
Did you finish the show? Did you finish the last couple
Personally,
seasons?
I didn't. I gave up on that.
Yeah.
I had that that completionist brain where it was like it was all there, and I was like, fine, let's truck on through. And you know what's funny is that Judith isn't even a main player in the last couple of seasons.
You gotta be kidding me.
They have her and her half brother Rick has a kid with Michonne, spoilers, and I don't even remember
Dun,
his
dun,
name.
dun.
I don't even remember his name. That's how important he was. I think it was something. Who
Rick
knows?
Shone.
It was awful.
Rick
it was,
Shone?
it was awful. They're like, you need to watch your brother, and it basically became the Daryl and Carol show because they were the coolest characters.
Right.
And Negan, like, RJ, thank you. Yeah, maybe Jessica could back me up. I was like, can you remember what Lilith? I'm not Lilith, but Judith and RJ did in the last season, other than like just go over there while we go do the stuff.
So are they the only characters that made it through the first season?
Yes.
Michonne and
Yeah.
Carol, or not Michonne. Well, Michonne did too, right?
Yeah, I
Michonne
think she-
came
Well, she
later.
came in
the
season 2.
Yeah. She was the prison arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And
And technically, Rick survived.
Yeah.
and they're making a movie, and I'm like, taking Rick out of that show was the biggest friggin' mistake ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was probably like you they had to think of, I want more money for being on this gigantic hit show, please, and they're like, we don't need you. And then
So, hang
come
on.
back.
Actors get tired of doing it, don't they? I mean,
Well-
some people
well-
just want out.
Well, there was Lauren Cohen, which she played on Supernatural as come on, somebody will know it. Anyway,
don't-
she was one of the main villains in Supernatural for a little bit. She was she got killed by hellhounds. She made a deal. Anyways,
Oh, right. Yeah.
she wanted to make a deal for a higher paid contract, and the writer and the whoever the showrunners were like, no, we can just do a season without you. So there's a whole season. I think it's like season 8 or 9, and she's not even there the whole season. And the excuse is oh, she's off with Judy,
Right.
Doing what?
like making contact with other colonies.
Right.
And then
It's,
They're
probably
in
an
a field of
interesting thing.
daisies, and they're just
yeah, because there was this lady that they just randomly did an episode where this old lady shows up in a van with 2 other girls, and she wants to sell knowledge. She has a book of like old medieval knowledge of how to build like windmills and all this other stuff. Bella Talbot, thank you. Well, I knew it was something, but yeah, she had like she had a book of like
sorry.
all this like windmills and all this stuff, and they offered to trade food for the book of knowledge, and then that character disappeared. Yeah, Maggie, she sucked, and yeah, and she sucked so bad that she was gone for an entire season, and then came back for another season. I guess she agreed to take the cut and fight the Whispers, and the Whispers were I don't care. That was the
really
worst.
dumb.
They were
That
the
was
they were
that
the
was
worst
a bad
villains.
arc.
They were the worst villains of the entire series.
They had the potential to be amazing.
Maybe, but the problem was is they made the survivors, Negan's group, like so awful and so scary, and how much of a grip they put on the main core group that you're watching that and you're like, man, how can anything get any worse than this? Yeah, and then sure enough, nothing ever did, and you're like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I think when they killed Glenn and you just saw,
Yeah,
him batter
Do
his
it
face.
twice.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
They did.
But that's
They did.
I think honestly, when that happened, that was like the worst, then the most effective the season was. After that,
Yeah.
I don't think it really could
It-
fix it or get any better or
Right.
stay the same level. It just
yeah.
Yeah.
It needed to just be like end right there.
yeah,
Like,
it did.
at least end the season, because man, after watching that, it was bad.
Jessica's like I jumped up and was happy when they killed Glenn.
She hated Maggie that much that it spilled over into Glenn. How dare you love her?
Glenn's face is all jacked up. He looks like Jason Voorhees. And
Yeah.
he's like, hey.
Well, I think it's clear what killed that show is just AMC's greed. Like they just were trying to keep the money machine going, and whatever the best thing to do to keep people watching, they would just do it. And if there was some sort of resistance, they tried something else.
Well, I remember there was like I forget, it might have been an article or something that they were like, oh well, this person is building up to have a really good story. That means they're gonna kill him in a couple episodes, and sure enough, it was like clockwork.
Oh yeah, if
Every
anybody
single
gave
time,
the
it's like-
speech like, "Man, I can't wait to get out of here and get married and just it's going to find a new life. It's going to be great." Like, you're dead.
Things are going real great for me lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They introduced the character like that, and he was walking down the road. I can't remember what it was, but he was just like, "Yeah, man, can't wait. We're gonna find this place, and it's gonna be great. I can't wait to start it with life and all that." I'm like, "Oh, you're dead already. Like, you're new.
Yeah.
You can't be telling stories like this to new
Yeah.
people. You're a stranger."
Yeah, anytime some new character showed up and they were really friendly to like the main character, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you were real good friends," literally dead within the first 15 minutes.
Do you guys
Yeah.
remember
They're
that
the
one
red shirts.
plot? The one plot where these like two random people were looking for insulin. And I
Yeah.
thought, what the heck? Isn't it a long enough time? I don't know how long insulin will last without, being like some
It
kind
can't-
of,
it can't get to- yeah.
protected by the environments. But like now it's been like what, a month, a year? I don't know, something.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're looking now for insulin. Like, why are you going to find it? Like,
Better look with the
Yeah.
Twinkies, which will
Yeah.
make it worse, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they after Rick left the show, and I swear they owe Jeffrey Dean Morgan like a free back surgery for carrying that fucking show for
Yeah.
four more seasons. Like Negan carried the show literally.
4 seasons with Negan?
I may be wrong, but I know
It was something like that.
because I know
That's insane.
I'm pretty sure it was either 8 or 9 when Rick left, and then it went to 11. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I just remember when Rick started acting like Shane, and I was just like, okay, so we've doubled back and we've canceled out the reason that he killed Shane.
oh he
Right.
he got way worse.
And
Way
when
worse
he-
than shit.
yeah, it was just when it got to that level when he like kind of got unhinged. I was like, I'm out because you should have just kept Shane around if that's what you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Rick was getting unhinged every other episode or every other season, rather. Like, like whether
Splatter
it's
of
White
blood.
Eyes. Yeah. He just
I-
lost all the time.
I'm doing this because I love you.
I'm gonna say something, and I want you to go back and rewatch it and laugh at this. It's every time he puts on that little fur blue jean coat. That was his murder jacket. Every time when he put on that, he became a fucking psychopath. It's like that fur was like whispering to him, like kill, 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 kill. He's like, and he's like, I'm gonna bite your neck out. Coral.
For the betterment of the group.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
man.
As soon as he loses that jacket, he becomes a civil human being again. I swear to you, dude. Like, go back.
If we ever become serial killers, we need those jackets, guys.
Well,
Just be like,
I already
Come on.
have one, so
there we go.
no.
it's-
Horse doesn't
I'm
have
kidding.
one.
I don't have one at all.
mine's downstairs. It's a Wrangler jacket with a.
It goes great with your murder wall over there.
Yeah.
I had a couple of these to burn off. I skipped this. Predator. I
Yeah,
don't think you're going to do a better Predator than Predator anyway.
No,
Yeah.
I think that was good. Although
I don't
Aliens
know.
made me hesitate because I love James Cameron's Aliens, and I love Alien as a horror movie, and I was like, I don't know if I could stop just with Alien, but
Yeah.
I would still say it'd probably be better if you did because all the stuff that came after it.
Man, does that help, Zach? Negan made his first appearance last episode, season 6, so he would have been 7.
Yeah,
season 7 would have been a starter.
That's when he walked out of the RV
Yeah,
with Lucille. But but if you remember, when they ended the Savior arc and they put him in jail, he was in jail during the whole like when Rick got killed, you know, and so he then the Whisper arc happened and Carol let Negan free so that he could go out and infiltrate the Whisperers. Like, yeah, everything. I'm not gonna lie, like everything Negan touched was gold in that show. Like he literally, like everything comes out of his mouth. You're like, I love every second of this, you know. And then
I think it just speaks for Jeffrey D. Morgan.
yeah, he's got more charisma than I don't know.
Yeah, well, he was the comedian in The Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that was my favorite. He was my favorite character in The Watchmen for the little bits he was in there. You know,
I know.
That was one of the. I have my picks for that movie, but his casting and Warshaw's casting, they were spot on.
Oh,
yeah,
perfection.
Yeah.
My issues with Watchmen come down to like the certain parts of the story, like Dr. Manhattan. They used his attachment to the world in the form, they put it in clothes. So in the beginning, he had like a little Speedo on, and then as it progresses throughout time, he gets less and less clothes to where he's just naked.
Yeah.
But they started him off as naked. And it's like they completely removed that little subtle nuance that
so you're saying
they
Zack
had
Snyder
written in
didn't
there.
understand the source material? Is that what I'm understanding here? Because I don't know.
I don't think he's ever done that.
Yeah, I looked at the pictures.
Yeah, you know what? I looked at the pictures. I saw this blue cock right here just dangling. And I was like, fuck it. Put the little blue dangler in there.
I want to have this thing crush somebody's skull.
Yeah, so you're telling
Pretty
me
much.
So you're telling me if they would have followed the source material, I would have saw less blue penis?
Right.
Great.
Yeah, I mean it's in the book, but yeah, all this is supposed to be. There's a lot of visual metaphors and like all these literary references. Like the whole point of them doing the spoiler alert for Watchmen if you ever read the book or anything, but like they changed the ending, but remember Zack Snyder still did that extended cut where he did the animation of the pirate story. That was an old comic.
Yeah.
Like the reason that's even in the story is because it's like an allegory, but also it's because it's the author who wrote it is one of the people that gets kidnapped and put on the island to come up with the idea of this alien that's in the book with all these other great minds. And he just puts all that stuff in and then changes the ending so you don't need it.
Yeah.
And yet they still did an extended cut. The company fucking animated that. So that was like one of those things that was just like ginormous waste of time if you're going to change the ending. And that you do that when you don't understand the source material.
I just want you to know that this conversation about, Dr. Manhattan's penis has got Jessica Laws to say, I'll have to check out The Watchmen. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's why she said that because it's probably not, but it was funny.
Oh, it's definitely
said that right.
It's definitely why.
But it's interesting because Zombie mentions I do not care for the TV show,
which is a sequel to the book, not the movie.
Yeah, right. It doesn't count with all this other stuff. But
yeah,
I personally wasn't a big fan of the show either, although I was happy that they tried to actually keep the Watchmen story from the comics in there with like the squids and stuff and everything. I was really happy about that. But I just didn't think that it was necessary to throw in a sequel to the Watchmen itself. That was bizarre to me.
Yeah. I still like Looking Glass. I thought that was a great character. And the score, the Trent Reznor, what's his name? His Ross. It might be Atticus Ross. Anyway, his composer partner. The score to the Watchmen show it's so good. For forgot to mention this, but I think this one's obvious too. At least to me, I just like the darkness of it. It kind of lost
Before
its
they
edge
got
after that one.
goofy.
Yeah. But I like the last one. But I like the last one. They wouldn't really had to make the last one if it hadn't been for the other ones.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of a return, but also a commentary on all the sequels and stuff.
I've never seen it, so
New Nightmare is amazing. It's great. What else did I have? Oh, okay. So did I hit everything else? I have future predictions and past predictions. I know Zach's going to agree with this. Me and this one.
Ooh.
In terms of games, they should have stopped at that first game.
Absolutely.
I know I like Dream Master and all that stuff, but I'm thinking about how good Freddy Krueger would be as a character if they hadn't done all of those.
Rick
Remember
and
when
Morty.
they tried to re-release or like they tried to come back up with that and it was Rorschach, I think, wasn't he the Freddy
Jackie Earle
Krueger?
Haley.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. I don't know. But I for people who were yeah, you bitch. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the parody. Let's put that up because that might have been too funny.
Yeah, that
hey bitch. Hey bitch.
You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Bitch. Bitch.
They ruined Freddy Krueger for me.
Yeah, I didn't. It was one of those freak things where I hate spoilers when I'm really interested in something. But the tsunami of hate that was coming off the leaks for that Last of Us 2 game.
Yeah.
I had checked it out and I was just like, no, they wouldn't do this. This is like somebody faked this or something.
I think that was my fault.
Yeah, you were like, have you seen this? And I'm like, no, what? Because I'm ready to buy this game.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was just such a sea of hate, and of course, me being me, I had to peek at it a little bit, and then as soon as I peeked, I was like, oh, the sun,
Yeah, because it's a full. The video is like pretty much finished. That cutscene is just like,
yeah. I didn't know how to break it to him because he was all excited. He was like, "Oh man, I'm ready. I got my PlayStation ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm about to lock myself in the room for however long it takes to complete this, to get this piece of art." And I'm like, "No."
Yeah, I love the first one so much, but I think between that and the show, which okay, so I understand, and I'm not going to blow what happens in the game. I don't think it's fair, especially if they are going to follow that, because that's spoilers for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling they are going to 100%. They're going to just do that.
Oh yeah. He already said he's even going to stretch it out to 2 seasons.
So I'm going to
double
heads up. You're probably not going to like the next season of The Last of Us. Even if you did like the show, which I can understand, there's people that like the show because they don't know. I know personally, my niece loves the show. She didn't, she knows of the game and has played it a little bit, but it's not like to the extent like, we have and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, Dustin, you never played the game. You like the show, right?
Yeah. I thought it was all right.
The show, massive hit. This is a big hit for HBO.
Yeah.
So, I won't do it, but future, they should have kept it at 1. I'm going for the show too. Yeah. We'll see how that plays out. I actually want to come back and see.
Yeah, I think either or the ending of that. It's like, are you sure there's anything else that didn't happen, Joel? Nope.
Nope. Yeah. I think this is one that might give me some flack because I love the Die Hard the original trilogy, but 4 and 5 I don't like enough to. I think it kind of killed the character for me.
I think 1 and Done was good for Die Hard.
Yeah.
Because 2 is just a remake of 1.
It is.
Yeah.
It's even Christmas again, which you're like, oh. And I will argue that Die Hard 2 is not a Christmas movie because it just happens to take place at Christmas.
Right.
It's not like the spirit of Christmas is in that movie. Yeah. Die Hard 3 I fucking love. I'd say it's almost as good as the first one. And the only reason it's not as good as the first one is because the first one already happened.
Yeah.
Die Hard 3 is amazing.
I'm going to just call you Jake Peralta from now on.
Yeah.
You are Brooklyn 99.
I gotta watch that show. I'm sorry.
It is so good.
I know it's good. There's so many shows. There's so many shows.
Good.
I know.
Jessica.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
What are you watching then? I'm trying not to get mad, but come on.
But we were talking about TV shows. What do you think right now about Twin Peaks? Where do you think?
So I think I've mentioned on the show, like every Friday, me and Brian's been going through Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
A show I have not seen, so
Yeah, I'll be careful. It's such a mind fuck. It's David Lynch, but it's so tonally all over the place.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. And I
Every
can't
episode
wait
is
to-
different. Some days
Every
you'll get like a
episode-
horror movie episode. Some days you'll get a soap opera episode. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. I mean, it's all tied together, but the acting and the script is just bizarre. You know?
Yes, watch it for Alan Rickman. I want to say this. This is the movie that made him famous. He was not a famous actor. He was a stage performer.
mhm.
And he had just gotten into movies, and this was like his first big break. And he fucking kills it.
Just
And
like he
immediately
killed
he's a star. And he
Snake.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't become a star until he was in his like mid to late 40s. And he
Right.
thank God, it was such a short time span.
Yeah.
I miss him. He's great. Yeah, Gremlins the spirit of Christmas is in Gremlins too. Like,
Yeah.
you can't take Christmas out of either of these movies. And it
Gremlins is tough because I love the second one, and I feel like it needs those two. You needed those two.
Mm.
But
I
I don't
think
know.
it-
What
I
did they
think
have like a
it might be
TV
that.
series or something called Mogwai or something? I don't know. What that
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of it though.
Me either. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, and I don't have a slide for this, but I predict Squid Games. I'll add that to the list. I don't see how you could top how perfect that show is. I wish they hadn't done the thing where there's like, oh yeah, of course there's other places where this is happening. So everybody's all over the place. Jessica, you don't like Gremlins? We're gonna have to, Jessica. You're gonna have to make a top 10 movie list for us.
Not even the Mogwais, like when they're really cute. Not even those little guys.
When he does the thing, when he does his little tiny Rambo bit. Although we wouldn't, if this world existed where we didn't have Rambo 2 and 3, we wouldn't have got that cool part. But
Yeah, it would have been much darker.
what would have he referenced if there hadn't been a Rambo? If there hadn't been a Rambo movie, what would have been like?
He would have covered him in a little tarp, and stitched up his wound, and
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he would have done it that way.
he would have done it that way, and then he would have caught maybe one of the humans in the hallway, and like, don't push it, don't push it.
You imagine a little, oh man, I'm trying to think of him doing that. Like, and
No,
just going
I'm-
like,
Yeah, like imagine like a human like taking a corner, and then he's on the little fire extinguisher, that hangs like right there. So as soon as he comes on, he just gets grabbed, and he like grabs a tuft of hair, and just like.
yeah. Gizmo, I swear.
I give you what you won't believe.
It's never over.
I'm still alive, so was it?
God, PTSD. Well, man, if anybody did have PTSD, he did have it from that second one.
He did. I'm so
He had
saying.
straight up PTSD. He just got over it real quick.
What was the kid that took care of him? His name? I don't remember his name.
Oh man.
You just see the Mogwai like covered in guts, and he's like, "I want to help you, but I can't find your fucking legs."
Fuck.
That's-
That's so dark.
Sorry.
I love my friends.
So it makes him a little wheelchair, and he just sits there and wheels around.
Yeah.
He just becomes Lieutenant Dan.
Well, that's a good question though. If at that point and you lost your legs as a little Mogwai, would you end up just not having legs as a gremlin? Like if
Yeah.
you ate?
Well.
So
Yeah, if he ate, I would imagine you wouldn't.
Well, no.
Could you
'cause
imagine,
Unless it
like,
has like healing properties.
they go in the little cocoon and change completely. So man,
yeah.
we're gonna have to contact a gremlin specialist.
Well, could you imagine like in Gremlins 2, like the one that turned into a spider kind of leg? Like I did that, just mixed him with
Yeah.
that, so he got spider legs, and he'd be like a drider, just like.
I think it's scary the idea of a gremlin with no legs and he's just walking around on his hands like a Silent Hill creature. Doing that little laugh at
I want him to take it a step further now and just splice it with different animals. Like, can you imagine like a silverback gorilla gremlin? Yeah.
Oh god, getting to like the aliens territory of like the comic toys and stuff.
Yeah. It's
Was
like,
it-
oh, who knew?
Was it you, Bo? I was talking to about the silverbacks or something. It was like 6,000 pounds they could like carry or something.
I think maybe, yeah.
6,000 pounds these gorillas can carry.
I don't mean to freak
Maybe drink
anybody
around
out.
men like they're nothing.
I know. It's insane.
And they don't even lift weights. Imagine they're not even at their full potential.
Yeah. If you had the Arnold Schwarzenegger silverbacks, how much could it lift? You know.
I know I want to take one and like teach it how to lift. You know,
Teach you how to live.
Put him under Goku and let him train.
Teach you how to wear like t-shirts and clothes and stuff.
Yeah, you just over there with like string tank tops. You know, just it says like World's Gym and it has a man on it instead of a gorilla.
Yeah, and then you like here, put this shirt on. It just grabs your arm and. We talked about dislocating my shoulder, hadn't we? Going to timeout.
See, remember Michael Crichton's Congo? That's all I keep thinking of with that.
Oh yeah, with Amy, the sign language.
Yeah,
That was a weird ass movie.
It was a weird book, but it ended up, one of those. Fortunately, it didn't get any sequels because I feel like that's a movie that they could have made random sequels about, just having gorillas, attacking everybody.
Yeah, plus
gorillas on a plane.
That whole thing where the point was like they were going down there to get these diamonds and make lasers.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't. We got to release Amy into the wild, and like these gorillas, everything's sacred here. And then the second there's monster gorillas, they're like, fucking kill them. Laser every last one bit of this species of gorilla. Kill it.
Which then leads into the Resident Evil movie with all the lasers and
with all the lasers and diamonds.
Freaking Candyman was in that movie, and I was all psyched for it. And then he gets like sliced and diced by the laser in the first 10 minutes of the movie or something.
Is that the guy that get waffled?
Yeah.
Oh man, what a awful way to go.
That's not Candyman though. That's I know that's a British actor. I can't think of his name though.
Oh really?
Oh man,
I thought it was Tony Todd.
I think he does look like him. I think you should read the comics. I think The Mask actually has great potential to make a bunch of movies, but even the first movie didn't quite get it right.
Oh man, so do I have to? I guess I need to go into Fast and Furious, huh?
Yeah, if it's the thing. I'll Jessica, real quick. Renee, I forgot. Renee said Dumb and Dumber. She's right. Why do you need? There's two more Dumb and Dumber movies.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
Isn't there like a cartoon too?
There was. They turned a lot of Jim Carrey movies into cartoons. The Mask was one too, and I think the Mask universe got its own comics.
Yeah,
but it's very different from the comics. The comics are really dark, and I love the idea of it.
Yeah,
of just real. They kind of made it like a family comedy thing. But think about what it would really be like to release people's ids. And you have all these people that know it'll make you an undefeatable god as long as you keep that mask on. And you don't even know who that person is going to turn into when they put it on. Everybody has like a different reason for wanting to try it on. Some people think it's a goof. And those books are great. I love them so much. But yes, Zach, you recently, I should say, you've been a major advocator. You have loved every single one up until the last one.
Yeah, because it was like I don't know if it's like, I know they're not good. I'm not gonna sit here I'm not gonna sit here and tell people, oh no, these are great movies. No, they're just like, you go to a movie, you sit down, you turn your brain off, and you watch some stupid stuff that shouldn't happen. And Vin Diesel, he gets ridiculous. The more he became a god in 5, for some reason. I don't know. Four. If we're being canonical, where he holds an engine over a guy, I'm like, no. No amount of cherry picker is going to allow you to do that. But okay, sure thing, D's. But yeah, so if we had to stop at one, I could live with that. And
that's a different world, though.
Yeah.
Because that first one is so different from the rest of them.
But here's the thing. The guy who wrote and directed that movie also did another movie that's exactly the same as that movie. And it's called Point Break. We already have that. And then they took that and they did it again. Instead of surfing, they were like, well, what if they're street racers?
Still
no one
DVD players.
and no one said a word to that guy. They were like, "Didn't you just do this? Shut the fuck up!" Don't, you know, you know, yeah. And it spawned, Fast and Furious. But and if you think about it, if we did only have one, maybe Paul Walker would still be alive.
Fuck.
Oh man, that's like a mic drop right there. It's like, all right.
Oh my god.
Because he wouldn't have been in that car.
That's like that. You were talking about the world that we live in that being different. If they had never made, we'd have one more extra human being on the planet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention Riddick, but let's just stop on that because
let's just have Vin Diesel's a murderer, guys. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed this conversation. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody showed up. This was
I
fun.
didn't mean to kill the show.
Like we've been talking about like real world repercussions of not continuing a franchise,
Yeah.
or a show or a game or any of that stuff. Like that's rough, man.
But he didn't die on set. He just
No.
died in a car accident.
He died in a car accident because he gained his love for street racing and fast cars from being in those movies.
Right.
So technically,
Do you think it would have died out like if you'd only done the one? He's like whatever next movie he would have done, like I'll just get into surfing or whatever.
Yeah, but he was real heavy into charities and stuff, So I think I don't know. I think a tiny pin drop whatever causes a tsunami somewhere. I think it may have changed things.
Yeah, I do too. It was just one of those things I thought about. Like I think I could just live with just Pitch Black.
See, that's a hard one for me because I do enjoy those stupid movies.
I think it's a good character that's waiting to come out in movies, but I feel like every time they try to do something, it stalls.
Yeah, like I don't know, the sequels just didn't hit as hard as that first one did. The Pitch Black, it just I don't know.
Yeah, and plus I love survival horror movies.
But the world is
great.
insane. The world that they have is insane,
and that's the thing.
Could be great.
A lot of people didn't like that. I think, like his Pitch Black was like crazy, and then every time they try to dip into the lore of stuff, like when they did the anime, I don't know if you saw that. I think it was Pitch Black Fury. I think that's what it's called. And it's from the same animators that did Eon Flux. You ever get a chance to? Yeah. He did that, and they had all the voice cast come back and reprise their roles, and it is awesome. It is so awesome.
I don't remember if I've seen it or not. I'd have to like go back and watch it to see if I've seen it.
It was out like early 2000s, I think.
Yeah. Because if you follow it canonically, it's the crew escaping that planet from the original movie and then getting picked up by mercenaries. And then they have this like crazy space opera like adventure that's like badass. And then it goes straight into Chronicles. Yeah. So, Dark Fury. Thank you.
I feel like I have seen that then. It's just been forever and I forgot it was a thing.
Yeah.
I think
remember when they were giving like anime stuff to everything?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of missed that. That's a nice little outlet for doing other stories.
I have to go with Jessica's John Wick, by the way. I think
you only like the first John Wick?
I didn't say I only liked the first one, but do I think that it could be a series? Like, could they have just stopped with the first one? Yeah, I think it would have done it better. I do like the movies, don't get me wrong, but I think if it was just like, if it ended at one, I think the impact would be a lot better because he would have literally have had a happy ending. Sort of.
I feel like
you got a new dog.
I feel like that's a coin toss thing. I feel like it's a coin toss thing, but also that new show doesn't look.
Well, you're tossing around questions of, of how when you should be asking, should you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I do think that if it ended as just one movie, I think it would have been really good. I mean, yeah, the other movies were all right, but considering how it didn't end well for certain person, maybe since but I don't know. I think one would have been a better ending. But I mean, even with like video games we talked earlier, when I look at, and this is unpopular, but personally, I think Legend of Zelda should have ended much earlier than it has.
So really,
you know.
I think it's got enough. I can kind of see your point, but also I would have to give up Link to the Past, and that's my favorite one.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
mine
can't
too.
do that.
It's mine too. But then, like, I think of like the second one I didn't like, and then Link to the Past was okay. I could do without the Game Boy ones. I could do without the Nintendo 64 ones. I
Ooh,
could do
Game
without,
Boy, good.
you know.
I
Oh,
like that.
tough.
I think Zelda's up and down. It's like it's going to
Mhm.
be around forever. So
Yeah.
I could give you a hard cutoff for Halo.
is it Halo?
Yeah.
I would say Halo Reach.
No,
right
I
after,
actually
right after Halo 3, and we got Reach, and I was like, that's it. And then Bungie let 343, which is
Right.
probably the worst company making games right now.
Well, the Fallouts should have been after the first one. Actually, I hate to say it, but I love the original
Yeah.
Fallout from Interplay.
Oh, I argue. I forgot about I have like a
I
honorable
knew
mentions
Zelda was
here.
going to be.
Zelda, but I can kind of see your
Invited this
point. But
guy.
Zelda's there's always the potential to be good ones. So it's like a
I
thing.
just look at it now and I'm just like, this isn't the Zelda that I grew up with. It's not, like now it's like people are almost acting like it's Minecraft, with Zelda. Like we're building all these things. People are weren't you like sending me pictures or videos or something, Bo, where like they're launching people, like they're crucified and they're shooting them off of like catapults. I'm like, what the heck is this? Isn't Zelda?
Yeah, because they
Like-
give them like way too much freedom in that game. But yeah, I want to read this. I kind of agree with the John Wick thing. I was surprisingly indifferent at the end of the last one. Also, I'd be fine with just the one Thor movie if it meant we didn't get Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
You know what? That I totally agree on that. The best Thor movie was
Yeah.
that original Thor movie.
Yeah. I like this drink. Another smash.
I mean,
'Cause
granted, I like the screaming goat. That was fun. But
It's not worth all the rest of
No,
it.
it's not. But that was the only thing I liked. You put a screaming goat in anything, and I think I would like it.
I don't mean to bring the party down, but did you guys hear that Taika Waititi is working on the next one?
Really?
What?
That's
The next Thor movie?
Yeah, that's the word. He's working on Thor 5. Apparently
Why?
they're like, here, do another one. We love losing money so much. Do another one.
Okay, so I want to. Renee brought this up. She just wants. It was such a good point. It's so obviously there, but people weren't saying it enough. Let Thor have growth and just let Thor be Thor and stop trying to make him like continuously a child learning lessons and all this other stuff. Like, I mean, you have this. What are they? So if they're going to do another one, what? He's going to be a dad. Is it going to be like, oh, I'm a terrible dad, bro? I'll learn how to do it. Like, can he just be Thor? Like, I feel like that's the first lesson of the first movie is that he was such a brat.
They'll probably have like a part where he goes and shits on Iron Man, where he's like, I'll go learn from the only other father that I know. Iron Man. Oh, that's right, you're dead.
Oh, he's dead.
But is he really dead? Because I've been kind of seeing things where he might end up making a comeback.
Yeah, because they need something to be good, and Robert Downey Jr. will sell tickets no matter how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. We don't need another Thor.
Nah. Yeah. Let Chris just do Extraction movies from now on.
Oh, I
Well,
still
I
need to see
mean-
that second one.
Oh, it's good.
I hear
good.
the train scene alone's worth it.
Yeah. Can't stand Thor.
They turned him into a dum dum.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like I get like the first movie if he's like ignorant of Earth and he's he's just this boisterous. I'm so good at war and
Right.
all this, but after that first movie, it's like he's been living on Earth for several years. He's had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's living on Earth with Avengers stuff. He knows how this stuff works.
Yeah.
He's not an idiot.
Yeah.
If he was that big of an idiot, like he wouldn't be good at fighting.
Right.
Somebody would have killed him already.
I mean, I don't mean to get on a tangent, but I think Infinity War was the peak Thor. He was peak. That was peak Thor that we had in the MCU. Was Infinity War. He had finally accepted the fact that he was king, and then had all it taken from him, and then all he had was vengeance, for Thanos.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they really downplayed that too, because
Yeah. And then because that one scene in the film, when they're in the Wakanda and things are starting to get rough and the Bifrost comes down, and Thor jumps in the fight and then Bruce comes out of the Hulkbuster and says, "Oh, you guys are screwed now." It's like that right there. I was like, okay, you peaked, and then they killed him with Endgame.
Yeah.
Like, let's
it made
make
him
him
stupid again.
yeah, let's make him stupid and depressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I can get being depressed. I don't get why. Well, not only that, but they made fun of him for being depressed, and it's like, do you understand that the moment that he failed killing Thanos, he thinks that he failed the entire universe.
Right.
Like, that's something hard to carry, especially for a warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, play on that, but also don't make fun of him for being like a silly bitch and all this, and all this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ugh. It was very bum out, especially when you think back about it later.
Mhm.
I don't know. That was a weird tangent to get on, but yeah, you're right. Thor.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I was just like we all went down that rabbit hole.
It's weird because so like when you look at like the Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Now here's my question. Do the Spider-Man movies exist separately? Or do they exist?
I would say those exist as different franchises.
Yeah,
even though
like
they
the
all
Raimi like the Raimi movies, and then okay. So I mean the Raimi ones are hard because the third one didn't need to be done at all, but
Right.
the first two were so good. It's almost like, what do you do in that situation?
That's one of those things like you probably let it slide. That's probably why I let Indiana Jones slide, because it wasn't that. I mean, it was a drop off, but it wasn't enough to where because I went back and rewatched those three, and they're just so amazingly well done that you can't. Nothing has damaged it yet.
I think that last one, I haven't seen it yet. I just only know through rumor, but I think they kill this character so hard that I would be willing to sacrifice the rest just to keep the first. I know that's a hot take.
You're talking about the end of the Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
I don't
have you
want to
seen
ruin
the new
it,
one?
but if you didn't see it,
Yeah, I know it's hard to speak on something that I haven't seen. I just like the little tidbits that I do know about, about them killing his kid. He dies in Vietnam.
Well, they did that because nobody liked Mutt. I mean, that's the.
I get that, but you could have wrote anything. You'd be like, oh, he's off doing.
No, I kind of agree with that. I thought that was. I didn't like Mutt either, but I was like, wow, they fucking killed Mutt.
Yeah, like.
Well, but there's a reason for the whole story. It kind of hinges on him having to die.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it does.
I still want to watch it, but I'm not like in a.
That's the thing. I don't. I mean, there are certain points like.
Sorry, Zombie.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
I guess.
But I wouldn't worry about what you're worrying about.
Okay.
Okay. However, I'm not going to say
that
it's. Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't think it was bad.
That's what I keep hearing.
I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying it wasn't bad. The beginning of the movie.
Okay.
The beginning of the movie, the first hour, maybe, I don't know, whatever it was very traditional Indiana Jones.
I've heard that too.
And it was epic. I liked it. But once they go back into like the 70s where he's like an old man, then you're kind of like, this isn't really my Indiana Jones now. It's like, and then when they go into the other part of it, which leads into the ending of it, you're kind of like, this is bizarre, and things. It really is. I mean, again, without spoiling anything, because there's points where it's like you can't make a comment about something because it kind of is like a whole point of the movie,
right?
So there's not much you could really talk about. But I can say the first part of it is like like a typical Indiana Jones fighting the Nazis kind of thing. And it's awesome. And I do think that them making him look, with the CGI younger, it didn't bother me. I thought it looked, it was fine. It felt like it. Yeah, music and everything. Yeah. The old man parts, I don't want to see Indiana Jones having to deal with back issues as he's walking around his apartment, his house, feeling depressed because he ruined his life.
Yeah,
I mean, to me,
my kid's dead. I gotta get a
yeah,
divorce.
right.
You
Like,
know,
all right,
like,
dude, you become
I
the guy
can't-
from Up.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want that. I don't want
Yeah.
Indiana Up.
Yeah.
Up is the sequel to Indiana Jones.
that's
That
it.
makes so much sense.
I mean, it kind of does when you think of the plot.
That's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
he
it's
was
like an
able to whip
adventure
the
movie.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people campaigning for Harrison Ford to be that dude in Up.
Oh yeah, when
funny.
they inevitably like let's start making live action versions of all the Pixar movies.
Right.
That'll be fun. So all right, so I want to wrap this up. Let's pose a question. When is it? When do you know to stop with something that you love? What's a good stopping point? Because it's really hard to recognize. We all want more. We could conceivably be talking about how we need sequels of these movies if they had never made them.
Mm-hmm.
So
take the Toy Story franchise, cut out the last one, and you're good with that franchise because you gave an ending to the franchise. And I think that's what stories need. They need an ending that resolves and gets the characters somewhere that is a finale. Whether it doesn't have to be good, maybe it's a sad finale, but either way, it has to end it. And I think a problem with movies is because there's so much money in them and they want to have a franchise, they keep wanting to leave things open-ended in case they bring it back.
yeah.
And when they do that, that's where the problem is. I think you need to put the nail in the coffin and say, this is it.
Right.
I think we just need more people to have the balls, like Dave Chappelle. Like I think Dave Chappelle said it the best when he did season 1 and season 2 of the Chappelle Show, and they're critically acclaimed. Everybody loved him, and Comedy Central was ready to drop like millions on him to do season 3, but he turned it all down because he felt truly that he's like, dude, I can't top what I did at season 2. I can't top it. There's nothing I can come up with that'll be better than what I just did. So I'm just not. And he chose to walk away from it. And I think that we need more writers and directors and people to just be like, you know what, this is it. This is where it is. And I don't think I can do anything better than this. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because George Lucas wanted to stop. He only imagined it to be just the one movie, and they had to write in additional movies because he wanted it turned into a contract thing. But then he talks about having a huge story where it encapsulates the prequels, the sequels, and whatever those other shitty movies are. But
well,
still.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's some really stupid shit George Lucas did too. You could tell he pulled the whole Darth Vader being their dad, out of his ass. I would argue that, and the fact that he was also the one who
David Prowse would argue that too.
Yeah, and he's like, and also Anakin's the one who built C-3PO. Also, like there's so many things, and it's knowing when to quit. Like when he went back to the original Star Wars films, and they had to go be like, well, we need to jazz them up with CGI, and we got to change some things. Greedo shot first. That whole thing. It's like knowing when to quit is the biggest problem we have in entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's at the same time. At the same time, I like those changes.
You fool.
You liked him shooting first?
You liked Greedo shooting first?
Yeah, I was fine with it.
I quit this podcast. I quit this fucking podcast.
I'm not saying anything, Dustin.
Dustin.
I have to, man.
The whole point of Han Solo's character is that he's a fucking scoundrel and he's a hot rod cowboy that's like, you know what, fuck this guy, and he shot first because I would have shot first.
He knew he was going to do something. He's like, fuck this dude, and he shot him.
Right.
He shot him
like he would have done any other time.
At the same time, having a hero who shoots first.
He's not a hero.
It makes
becomes a hero.
Yeah, he's not a hero at that point. He's
Yeah.
a scoundrel. He takes.
This is a good. I'm sorry, but this is
Yeah,
like
yeah. This is. Oh man, we're gonna need a whole
zombies
other.
against you too. Han shot
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Like this right
I'm
here.
not saying he didn't.
You just lost all credibility, man.
Oh,
Oh my
Turn,
God.
turn in your shit.
No, I don't disagree that Han shot first, but I agree with George Lucas that it was a conflicting message. Because if you look at it from a kid's perspective, they're like, well, why did he shoot? They were just talking. If you have to look at it from a kid's perspective, which is what they're made for.
But was Star Wars originally made for kids?
Yeah.
you got to remember,
I-
though, Dustin, I don't know about Zach, but Dustin is a dad. And I think he's looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So you got to,
Because
because
at the same time, what they did with Andor and how he just randomly shot that dude and straight up, who just killed him. It's like, what kind of message does that send to kids? Like, it's like, I wouldn't have done that.
I want to present the argument that at the time that Star Wars was made, George Lucas, not a father. After he became a father, he made the prequels very kid friendly. It's a very noticeable tone. Spielberg did the same thing. He had a different tone about him, even going so far as to change E.T. because he thought that was too dark. And then he's the only one that flipped. And he's like, oh wait, I changed E.T. What the hell was I doing? Like, I had people that grew up watched this movie, and I've changed it for them. That's not me. I can't do that. It's not mine anymore. George Lucas never had that. They kept tinkering with it, and then people on top of that kept tinkering with it. I argue that Han Solo, and it's okay because this is one of those things about heroes nowadays. People are afraid to have a hero that's flawed. I think it's okay. Because if you read that original scene, he's toying with him. He's trying to get out of this. Like, he's aggravated. Like, this dude, I'm going to have to shoot him if he doesn't shut up. Because I know he's going to try and take me back, and I'm not going to have that. Jabba will get his money when he gets his money. Tell him to do, Greedo. He's like, no, I'm sorry. And he's like, I got to shoot you now, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going back right now. I don't have his money. He's going to kill me, Greedo. He's not even involved in the main story at that point. So he's on his own little adventure, and Hana is not a good person at that point.
all I got out of this is
he's a smuggler.
Could you imagine if Quentin Tarantino changed all his stuff to be kid friendly? Do you imagine? Like Kill Bill would be so different.
Now throw out them guns. I ain't got another gun. Well, you better poop out another gun.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I read the scene as, like, fuck around and find out.
Right.
But Jessica comes in and says, here's the thing. I just don't. I think you could do kid stuff in the 80s, and it was. I don't see it as, like, problematic for kids. Like, I know it's weird to say that, but
yeah, but
you saw shooting an alien.
You saw. What is it?
Bro,
like RoboCop?
Yeah, let me.
You saw RoboCop as a kid.
Yeah, let me pose this thing. The concept of mentalities were different then. Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I remember watching RoboCop and being like, "Yeah, he's shot that dude in the dick." It was gonna rape that girl. Like.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I sent that video to everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Sunday Movies. He's the one. Yeah. They're the one that advertised that, and I was like,
I'm glad I didn't watch that at work. I didn't get any warnings or anything. I'm just like, oh, what's that? Oh no,
rapist. Fucking do it.
But yeah, I think the mentality was different. Of course they did.
It was fun.
It was fun.
What's not to like about Kill Bill?
Yeah. But I have to, right there with Jimmy. Like you're in a situation where, man, it's either him or me. And if you've ever been in that situation, you shoot first.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Okay, there is a better argument. If George Lucas didn't mean for that to happen, I don't think he would have had either of them shoot anybody. It would have been like tasers just stunning, like, I'm going to take you back to Jabba. Put
Or
these cuffs on or something.
Or it never would have happened.
Yeah, it's just like, that's the scene that was written.
Because if this was meant for kids, then maybe not put a scene where two people are going to shoot and kill one another. Regardless of who shoots first, it doesn't matter.
Or a dude cutting another person's arm off.
Yeah, like it was a different world back then, you know.
But that's why I think it's better with his edits, because he edited and there was so much backlash that he's like, all right, yeah, I see your point, but it's edited to the point where he's just a fraction of a second sooner. He shoots and Greedo's shot makes Greedo miss. He shoots and makes Greedo miss. Sort of duck.
I'll never forgive this.
Sorry.
I agree.
Yeah.
It does track, and I get it. That's why I like George Lucas's version.
I know it's a completely different topic, but if you're going to go the route of I'm going to change it, you have to make sure that you preserve the other one. Because there are people that like that.
Yeah, right. It made more sense, and it made you feel for the character more. The fact that he came from this dirty, rotten scoundrel that only cared about himself, and was willing to kill other people in cold blood and shoot them first, to this, you know what, I'm going to try my best to do the full hero route and come in when somebody needs me. Or we could argue that he did it all because he really liked a girl.
Yeah. Either or, like you're arguing that love changed the man. Like he's like, oh, I didn't.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He did.
That's what
George
he
Lucas in here. Bring him in here, guys.
Yeah, get him in here.
George Lucas, everybody.
Yeah, George Lucas. So that part of the scene I was saying. I can't even do it, George Lucas.
Yeah, we didn't.
Fucking goddamn it! We're fucking mad about this.
I was so mad just then. We have one guest that can come on and clear this up. Jesse Ventura, what did you think about this?
I can't get it. I can't. I can never remember which way to turn my mouth. So let me tell you, Han shot first because he's a badass, not a pussy. I don't know.
Thank you. That clears it up, Jesse. Thank you for your insight. He was there when they made Star Wars.
You're damn right I was there. I was there back in Laos. I was a frogman, so were you, Bo.
I'm picturing Dustin
goodness.
as like a grown-up Carl if he didn't get shot because of his hat.
Have you got an eye patch? You have
got an eye patch?
Like a party eye patch, you know, the ones you can see through? Or just wrap your head around the thing and just sit there and eat pudding?
Right.
I'll be Rick. Man. I'll bring the fur collar. You know? Coral. I gotta keep you safe, Coral. Coral, I spot you. Sorry.
No. Did you ever see those what the heck was that thing on YouTube? It was like they muted everybody and then they spoke for him and then they made a song for Carl.
What is that? I know what he's talking about. Bad lip syncing?
Yeah, bad lip syncing. That's it. And they did a Carl song off of that on YouTube. It was funny.
I'm gonna have to go look.
They did one on the governor too, I think.
Oh man,
kind of forgot about the governor. It's been a long time since
the governator today. I forget what they called it, but he was the governor. Yeah. Good times.
Still a better villain than the Whisperers.
Yeah, except I could have went without that side story when he tried to be a good guy all of a sudden and then became evil again. I was like, I could do without it.
Hey, it's Daniel from Streamer. I'm so excited to announce that local.
What is that?
What's going on?
Major news?
Major news.
Something happening?
I
The world
9/11
ended.
too
guys.
has happened.
This
Hawaii is now just a little tiny speck.
God.
God, wouldn't
Crazy?
it be some shit if the world was ending right now and we were missing it?
But did you guys actually hear all this stuff?
Arguing about Star Wars. We should be telling our loved ones that we just hold them tight, like, oh, it was so great. No, we're arguing about Star Wars.
On Solo.
It's too quiet in here.
You're listening to the new single from Carl Rhymes. This is Carl Papa coming at you on the Hot Power 96.9 Box The Jam.
Or did you roll, Cole?
Yeah, bring it down to the content ID.
Cause he's pretend bread boy, little cookie man, never waved to me. Got knocked out because I flow. The chicken jar jar dude, man, I just flow. Shoe shine. No one wanted your stinking tiara. No one wanted your stinking chair. Why you always talk about the
Rick is dying.
Jar jar dude. It shouldn't matter cause a brick is just a brick. Dark days, darker nights. Found my way down the hall without a light because I flow. The chicken jar jar dude. This whole thing where random dead people try to kill me's gotta go. Keep walking away.
God damn.
Oh goodness.
Next week, we'll watch video of us watching this, watching that.
Good times. I missed that. I mean, it's been years, I think, since that's come out, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that was-
it's
That
been a
lip
while.
syncing still? Are they still active?
I don't know. I don't know. I used to watch
8 years ago. It came out 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Wow.
I didn't see that Wish version of Liam Neeson.
That's
Listen,
crazy.
listen, you're gonna be bitten.
Well, this guy really. I predicted this show might go a little crazy, but not in this way.
Yeah. You find out who real people are. You know. See,
I didn't
that's-
say it, Dustin. When you go and assassinate everybody at some point later on in life, I just remember I
Billy
didn't say
Madison.
anything.
He's got like the little list, and he puts on lipstick.
Yeah. Yes. Just remember, I didn't mess around with your view of Han Solo.
Bron's last words. I read the extended universe.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, but then Dustin's like, Brian, didn't you throw away all those Star Wars books after your stroke? Boom! That's it. Sorry.
I'm
give 'em to
sorry,
me!
Brian, but you have to go too.
He just turns around and looks at you before he exits your room. He goes, "Is that gasoline I smell?"
Or he
What?
does that, do you remember Eric Roberts' cameo in The Cable Guy? Where he's playing the two brothers. He's like, Sammy, no.
Sammy, no.
I love you.
Double brother.
I wish I had that ready to go. That's like one of the best cameos in a movie ever. Dustin, Ohio Ranger.
Ohio Ranger.
Sounds like a post-apocalyptic thing, doesn't it? Like I just see him in the wasteland. He's
just roundhouse kicking everybody's head off.
In the eyes of the ranger, the unsuspecting stranger.
oh man,
better know the truth from wrong from right.
I don't
You
know.
sing as good as Chuck
Eyes
Norris.
of the ranger are.
goddamn, Dustin's singing now.
We need to. We'll cut Dustin. We'll get him to cut a cover of that song. Release it for the patrons.
We're getting rid of the intro song. That's going to be the new one.
I still think you should just do Carl Papa, man. That's a good song. You
You
should
have to
do
buy the
it.
rights to that. I'm sure. Well, So next, we're coming back Friday. Are you gonna be here, Dustin? It's for your birthday, but you might not be here.
I'd like to not be.
Okay, that's fair. We can talk.
It's like I'd like to not be, but he's not. My family really wants to take me somewhere nice, but I told them no because of this show.
Right. Right. I mean, because last time my brother-in-law came over, we were podcasting that night too, so they had to wait for me to be done before we could play a game. And
we can't ask you to put off Ahsoka and your family this week.
Yeah,
it has to be both one or the other.
Right.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I mean, like if you guys can come on and do the show, that would be ideal, because this is why I chose that movie.
Doing it. It's easy talk. I think Zach, if you're happen to be free Friday at 9, yeah, it's an easy one. You actually like this movie? It's a Princess Bride.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
You think, yeah.
I'll jump in.
Zach Bryant,
I like the book better, but I'll jump in. I like the movie, but
should we do it on like a Thursday or a Saturday just to change it up?
That's
that way you can be there. I mean, because it's understandable it's your birthday, you don't want to be here.
No,
but if it's your movie, you don't want to be here.
That's why I chose it, because I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
But I'm wanting specifically Kurt to watch it, because he
especially
refuses to watch it.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
I don't understand in good conscience how you could watch.
Shut up, Siri.
Shut up, Siri.
I don't understand how he cannot like The Princess Bride and watch it.
I know, right?
Like how did you sit through Zapped, but you can't?
Right.
Zapped was rough, dude.
Dude, I saw that.
You talk about dodging a bullet. You dodged 9/11 not having to watch that movie. That was an awful movie.
It wasn't that good.
Like I'm glad that somebody didn't walk through my house and be like, "Listen, you can either watch Zapped or go back to Afghanistan." Be like,
You
do I
probably would have chosen Afghanistan.
Be like, do I have to leave tonight?
But we should talk about Twin Peaks one of these days when we're done with everything.
I think when we're
I need to watch it.
I think when we're done, we should do a discussion. I would actually like to try and get anybody that's been on that show to come on the show.
I mean, if they're not dead, I think.
Well, one of them is still alive. One of them's going to be at my Comic-Con this year.
Really?
Or the junior? Yeah, the giant.
Well, kidnap him.
Kidnap him and just hold him until we're done.
I mean, he's got to be super old now, so just kick him in the back of the legs and then drag him into your trunk.
Maybe
everybody knows he played Lurch in the Addams Family movie. That's what he's most known for.
Yeah, maybe I'll be home by that time, and I can I'll do it. You know.
You watch Twin Peaks?
The Kidnap.
Oh, because I was going to say, I don't know if you'd like Twin Peaks. It'd be fun to watch you try and watch Twin Peaks.
I just grab it. I just grab him and duct tape him. You know, I'm just borrowing you for a little while. It's not illegal. Don't worry.
You're gonna need a step ladder,
dude. I just want. I wish, because he has to be dead. That guy that worked in the hotel was like the old guy.
I know you.
This guy was amazing.
He would be the best, but yeah, he's probably dead.
He's probably dead. He was like 80 in that show.
He's pretty old.
So, you know, maybe he's a zombie. How about that? He's like,
we could, one of the RoboCop villains, you know, Ray Weiss, you know, the actor.
You said it 5 times fast.
Yeah, it's just like because of the Ray and the Weiss, and it's of Weiss, and my tongue gets messed up. Anyway, he's a major character on that show. We could get him and then try to get him and talk about RoboCop and everything all at once.
Yeah, nice. Try it.
But yeah, I think it'd be a fun. I can't wait to see how everything wraps up on this, because I cannot predict where the show's going at any given point.
So what series is it?
Twin Peaks.
We're watching Twin Peaks, and then there was a movie that serves as like a pseudo
Fire Down Below
prequel. Right?
It's what happens that leads up to the show.
Yeah, and then there's a return series that they did a few years ago.
On Showtime.
Where it's like a revisit, and then that's the entirety of the thing. But I don't even know. Like, the instigating incident has already been resolved in the show, and yet it's only led to more things, and it's kind of insane.
What's funny is
I hear that noise now.
What the hell? Is that your bath?
Your bath is done. He's got bubbles. So it ends like what Bo was talking about, the plot of season 1 and then what season 2 leads up to completely gets resolved. And I'm not gonna say completely gets resolved, but
99%
yeah,
resolved.
it gets resolved in the middle of season 2. And I'm just like, what a weird way to like write a season. Like, you know what? Season 2, how are we gonna end it? Not how we started,
No,
because that'll already be done.
it's
And
going
it
to
was
something
really
crazy.
weird, and it just kept going. And it does. It gets stranger. You start out. The way I would look at it is pretend you're a middle-aged person in the in the 90s, and you're used to watching shows from that time period. So you're probably, again, not huge in the sci-fi. I'm talking about the general populace. You're not huge in the sci-fi or fantasy. You don't have a lot of comic book stuff or anything like that, except for like, Wonder Woman and the Batman show from the 60s stuff.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of stuff in. So then you decide to watch this show called Twin Peaks, and it is about a murder mystery, essentially. And that's what you think it's about. But then as it goes on, you see the supernatural stuff that kind of slowly starts to take over as being the predominant force in the show. But also at the same time, it's very soap opera-y. And it's very strange. It is. It's strange.
Does it have
The thing
Stefano
that focus-
DiMera in it? And need Stefano DiMera with his music.
It has its own music soundtrack, and it recycles itself nonstop, but it's awesome.
Great.
It is.
It's like an anime. It has like the stock themes, and then they just keep reusing them.
And it's so good, though.
Yeah, it's David Lynch. I mean, if anybody knows anything about David Lynch, that's what you need to expect going in. And even then, it's just like, I'm still baffled that this was like this was like a pretty big hit show on ABC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine being a like somebody from that time period that's not into a bunch of nerdy stuff, and then suddenly you're watching it because you're not into nerdy stuff, and you think it's going to be another like Murder, She Wrote type thing, and then all of a sudden it just completely goes off the wall.
It's crazy.
It is. And the acting is pretty bizarre. But the weird thing we've noticed, almost every actor looks like a poor man's version of another more famous actor. Right?
There's been some neat, I don't know, I can't describe I think half the joy of the show, I mean, I actually like David Lynch, but I feel like half of the joy of the show is I don't know what the hell episode I'm going to watch next. You can't predict what's going to happen.
It doesn't.
It's completely unpredictable.
You'll get one episode that's like a horror, episode. Another one that's like so soap opera-y that you cringe. But then it goes back to the horror thing in the next episode, and it's intense. It's
currently
nuts.
right now there's like a comedy beeline that's like out of a 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
Like some weird thing, but they keep coming back to that, and this in the middle of this town that is devastated by the death of this woman.
Yeah.
And it's just
it's so crazy.
I'm so fast. I can't wait to see how it ends. I really, just to take it all in. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, you get.
We should do a retrospective.
Things. Yeah, I think once it's going to be a while because we got to finish everything, and
we're still in the middle of season 2.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Friday, or maybe we'll move it. We'll talk behind the scenes. But still, the homework is Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And Brian, would be interested to have you on.
Is it on anything like Netflix or Hulu or anything?
Well, it's on Disney Plus, but
is it? I have Disney Plus, but I don't watch it. I pay for all these streaming shows and I don't even watch it because I don't know why. It's bizarre.
It's for Bluey.
Yeah.
That's all Zach's got it for. His kid loves Bluey.
Yeah. Every time I threaten to cancel it, she's like, you'll kill us all.
I have not seen the new episodes yet, but
there's one. I don't brace yourself. I wasn't ready for Bluey to come in with the feels that hard and have me over there with my kid. I'm just like, fuck,
You're like,
man, fucking allergies.
Oh man.
My son's gonna have to.
what's Tuesday, Jessica?
Oh, are you talking about next Tuesday?
I'm guessing.
If
Because
so, I don't know if we have anything planned.
I feel like right now we have the most to talk about on Tuesdays and Fridays. Those are the 2 days that I'm aiming to try to fall into a pattern with. Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Friday. Friday's a staple.
But also know that our schedule is going to be everybody's schedule is going to change soon.
Yeah.
Getting it back in October. Oh yeah, because of Loki. I forgot.
Yeah.
I hope Loki's good.
Yeah, I
like
want
that
to see
first
Loki season 2.
I
I do.
But yes, we will talk about it. We'll go back. Everybody just join us later in the week. It's going to be
Later in the
Princess
week.
Bride.
Just show up.
We'll figure it out.
might
It would
be
be nice
on
to have
it, you know.
Dustin on the show.
We'll do a show when we feel like it.
Yeah. Each and every time that we
Time
do
that
a
we do
show.
it.
We'll talk about the sequel from Stephen King,
Ooh.
Buttercup's Baby.
I'm just interested to hear your perspectives that you've read the book.
I will say this: I thought there was a sequel, that they really was, because what happened was it's teased in the book that there was a sequel that he didn't have time to translate, because the whole thing about the Princess Bride book is that it was a translation of another like European guy's book or something. And that's why there's actually like notes in it about that, even though it's all just him just being an author and just, writing everything.
Right.
That's very uninteresting.
Yeah. But he ends up saying that Stephen
I have to
King
use the button
ended up,
once a month or we lose it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
but
You know the rules.
Stephen King wrote the sequel, or was going to write the sequel or something. So I was looking for it. And
That would be weird though.
it would be. But that was the interesting thing about it. That was like the joke, But when I was younger and reading it, I didn't get the joke. So
My name is Inigo Montoya. I'm a being from another dimension. Prepare to die.
Pennywise.
Okay, so yeah, we'll talk about. I'm looking forward to it. I don't even need to watch the movie. I've seen it so many times.
Right.
It's a good movie.
Main goal was just.
But if you haven't watched it, Jessica, watch it. Okay, well, we'll see everybody then. Have a good evening. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so this is our goal. Tuesday and Friday with regular interviews, depending on schedules.
And on that note,
and Ahsoka episodes and everything else.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker.